Some roads are not meant to be just traveled. They are meant to be felt. The wind on your face, the sound of your engine, the sight of river glistening beside you. This is not just a return ride. This is the realization. In this ride, I discovered how pain can shape power, how silence can teach strength, and how even a long scooty ride can awaken the hero within. Stay with me because this is where the real story begins. Welcome back, friends, to yet another part of this unforgettable journey, my return ride from the magical lands of Nepal. This is not just a ride back home. This is a story about life, about love, about loss, about chasing dreams and facing reality. This video is not just about roads and sceneries. It's about what those roads teach you. It's about how mountains whisper wisdom, how the river flows like your thoughts, sometimes wild, sometimes calm, and how in between the silence of valleys and the roar of the wind, you find yourself. So don't just watch, feel this journey with me. You will know how to embrace life's toughest rides with a smile, the true meaning of happiness and freedom, the joy of chasing dreams with courage, how peace and power come from within, and how effort and patience transform pain into strength. The road was silent, the sky wore golden shades of evening. On one side, the glowing green river flowed like a stream of dreams. On the other side, the proud mountains stood like old wise souls. This road, with no traffic, only calm wind, and the humming of my engine, felt like a road made for the soul. It just felt like a dream road. No traffic, no noise, just the wind, my scooty, and the sound of my soul echoing in every turn. And that moment, I felt alive. There are very few moments in life when everything aligns. The mood, the road, the weather, and your heart. This was one of them. It was already 4:30 p.m. and I knew I had to cover the hills before the dark shadows swallowed the path. There's something about riding during sunset. The golden hues falling on the road, the crisp mountain air, and that feeling of freedom you can't explain in words. We chase destinations, but sometimes the ride is what changes us. The truth is, life is just like a road trip. You will face potholes, patches of beauty, climbs, and sudden turns, and yet you ride on. You were not born just to be happy or sad. You were born to explore, to feel, to experience, and to keep moving forward, just like I did. Despite the odds, despite the pain, I continued my ride. As the river sang beside me and the hills wrapped me in their quiet company, I thought to myself, what's life without a little risk, without getting lost to truly find yourself? Happiness and sorrow are like these roads, sometimes smooth, sometimes rough. But what really matters is you keep riding. Because if you stop when the road gets bad, how will you ever reach the smoother stretch waiting ahead? This journey wasn't just a travel dream, it was a life lesson. I wasn't just moving on a road, I was healing, I was growing, I was learning what real strength feels like. I remember the accident, the pain in my ribs, the doubt in my head. But as I rode now, stronger, freer, I realized that injury slowed me down, yes, but maybe to give me time to reflect, to realign, to understand. If I had not stopped, I wouldn't have met the kind lodge owner who waived my charges. If I hadn't struggled, I wouldn't have discovered how little we actually need to be happy. Food, fuel, and the fire within. This is what ride teaches you. Not just how to balance two-wheeler, but how to balance life. The wind was wild, but my heart was calm. Each curve of the road felt like a poem. Every mile added a memory. I laughed with the air, sang with the breeze, and for a moment I felt like I wasn't just riding back home, I was riding into myself. This is the joy of riding solo. You connect with not others, but with yourself, and that's where true peace lies. As I rode along this beautiful stretch, one thought kept coming back again and again. Life is just like this road, sometimes smooth, sometimes broken, sometimes full of surprises, sometimes just flat and silent. But no matter what, the journey must go on. Because if you stop riding when the road gets tough, you might never reach the part where it becomes beautiful again. We were not born just to be happy or sad. We were born to live, explore, ride, and to feel everything along the way. The joy, the heartbreak, the wins, the failures, the pain, and the peace. Just like I was feeling everything in that moment. The ache of my ribs from that accident while going to Kathmandu, the freshness of the mountain air, the relief of finding myself again, and the excitement of every next turn. And that's how I realized this is what life is, a ride. The mountains stood like a father figure, calm, strong, watching over me. And on that road, I was riding with a heart full of stories and a mind bursting with memories. Moments like these make you feel emotional, not because you are sad, but because you are deeply connected. Connected with the earth, the air, the road, and with yourself. They say the destination is the goal, but let me tell you something. Sometimes the ride itself is the real prize. Sometimes the road teaches you more than the place you are heading to. You see, I had dreams of reaching Upper Mustang and Muktina, but life had different plans. A small fall in Kathmandu injured my ribs, and while I was disappointed, now, riding through this magical silence, I understood why. Had I gone ahead, maybe I wouldn't have been surviving on those rough terrains. Maybe I would have gotten stuck. Maybe I wouldn't have discovered this beautiful part of the return ride. And most importantly, maybe I wouldn't have learned what acceptance really means. We often think pain is a setback, but sometimes pain is your body's way of pausing you, so your soul can catch up. And in that pause, you start to hear yourself more clearly. You begin to notice things, the texture of the wind, the shade of the sky, the sound of your breath, and the weight of your thoughts. I looked at the sky, orange melting into pink, and told myself, you don't have to reach everywhere in one journey. You just have to reach the right places at the right time. And at that very moment, I smiled because I realized I was exactly where I was meant to be. But as much as my soul wanted to keep riding, I knew I had to reach a safe place before dark. These forest roads, as beautiful as they are not meant to be taken lightly after sunset. Not because of ghosts or wild animals, but because even the most beautiful path can become dangerous if you don't respect its rhythm. And that's another lesson of life. Don't just rush because the road is clear. Don't stop just because it's hard. And don't fear just because you are alone. Trust the journey. There's a powerful lesson this road whispered to me. Chase your dreams, even if they feel far-fetched. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Start anyway. The effort is what makes the dream come alive. There will be pain, but pain is just like another hill. Climb it. Be kind. The world is a mirror. Give goodness and get love. When I started this journey, I didn't know I would end up being changed forever. But here I was, somewhere in between mountains, smiling, content, and thankful. It just felt like a dream. Sometimes, when you're returning from a dream, it feels even more unreal. There's something magical about knowing where you have been and still not knowing where you will land next. With every twist in the road, my thoughts deepen. Why do the lowest points often become turning points? Why do our doubts try to shadow our dreams? And most importantly, why does a simple journey like this awaken parts of us we didn't know existed? You always have to remember that struggles don't knock politely. They just show up. My scooty had braved off-roads, sudden weather changes, and the biting cold of mountain mornings. My body ached, but my soul surged forward. Every ride uphill was a metaphor. Sometimes life throws you steep inclines, and you wonder if you have the fuel left to climb. But when you do, the view is so worth it. I remember the tough moments of this trip, mechanical issues, navigating unfamiliar roads, and times when I almost gave up. But here I was, stronger, more aware, more alive. Struggles don't block you, they break open a deeper part of you. What is happiness? It's the aroma of a roadside tea, the sound of birds hidden in thick trees, the softness of your jacket against the wind. As I rode through a patch of forest, I spotted a kid waving at me, a dog chasing butterflies, and some villagers laughing over something simple. None of this was planned, and yet all of this was just perfect. Joy isn't something you find in a destination. It's the sprinkles itself along the way, like sunlight through the leaves, unexpected and golden. On this ride, I wasn't chasing happiness. I was collecting it, moment by moment. Riding solo lets you talk to yourself in ways daily life never does. You reflect, you remember, you forgive. I thought of the people I missed, the fears I used to have, the dreams I once shelved for later. The scooty's engine hummed like a lullaby beneath me, and I remembered my younger self, so full of anxiety, so afraid of failing. But here I was, navigating cliffs and curves with ease. Fear loses power when you keep moving. The ride is a mirror. It doesn't lie. It shows you who you are, but more importantly, who you can become. Love is just not being romantic. It's in the way the road bends to let you pass safely, in the way strangers offer directions, in the warmth of the smile when you stop for a chai. I remember a kind of old man who insisted I rest before continuing. I remembered a roadside vendor who gave me some extra snacks without a charge. On this ride, I realized love isn't rare. We are just too busy to notice it. Riding through these mountains, I felt embraced by the earth itself. The breeze, the soil, the sky, everything was love, disguised as scenery. People always think that peace is in stillness, but I found mine in motion, the rhythm of the wheels on gravel, the consistent roar of the engine. It became my mantra, my moving meditation. The fresh air filled my lungs with purpose, even when the road got rough, even when I wasn't sure what was around the bend. I felt grounded. It's not about controlling the ride, but flowing with it. Stress tries to grip you like a backpack you forgot to drop, but rides like this teach you to let go. The road won't wait for you to fix everything. You learn to ride with your worries instead of against them. Somewhere on the way, you realize many things aren't worth the burden. On one turn, I stopped, took a deep breath, and said to myself, let it be. And it worked. As the sun dipped lower, my shadows stretched far ahead of me, almost as if guiding the way. I looked back at the hills I had conquered and felt a sense of pride. But I wasn't clinging to the past, I was honoring it. Everything we go through becomes a stepping stone. The love, the tears, the lessons. all of it becomes your foundation. And when you are strong enough to look back without regret, you are ready to ride ahead without any fear. Now, the bonus tips. Happiness is not found at the end of the road, but in each moment of the ride. Struggles don't stop you, they shape you. Letting go is not giving up, it's growing up. Love is everywhere if you ride slow enough to see it. Peace is a direction, not a place. Every bad road ends, you just need to keep going. We weren't born to settle, we were born to explore. And around 5 pm, I found a spot to take a short break, and the view beyond words. The valley stretched endlessly, sun rays kissed the mountains. I sat on a rock, stretched my legs, and looked around. This is what life is meant to be. Not constant hustle, not endless worry, but moments like this, where you pause, breathe, and reflect. Sometimes the break is as important as the ride. I look back at the roads I covered, the near misses, the unknown turns, the laughter, the silence, and the lessons. Every second felt worth it. And as I prepared for the ride again, I made mental notes, not just for myself, but for anyone and everyone listening. Never give up on your dreams. They might seem impossible now, but one small step can change everything. Accept life's detours. The roads not taken might save your life. Be kind. Like that lodge owner, your kindness can be someone's blessing. Enjoy the now, not tomorrow, not next week, but this very second. Keep riding, whether the road is smooth or rough, and keep moving forward. Take breaks. Your soul needs it more than your body sometimes. And believe in yourself, in the road, and in the magic of the journey. Now, as I end today's ride and this video, I just want to say thank you for riding with me, for listening, and for dreaming. Life is not perfect, neither are roads, but with a brave heart, a powerful dream, and a little bit of wind on your face, everything becomes worthwhile. So, stay strong, stay inspired, and stay grateful. Until next time, keep riding, keep exploring, and keep writing your own story.
Look at this beautiful view from here. This is the last mountain, I believe. I have covered like almost, I think, 4 or 5 mountains. So Kathmandu is pretty far. It's all mountainous roads, and it takes a lot of time and patience and expertise. So just a smoke break, and the time check right now 5:27 p.m. local time, and Indian time is 5:11, and 1 hour 2 minutes to Bhiman. If it gets dark at Bhiman, we will stay at Bhiman, or else we will continue the journey. So let's see. For now, I'll just take a short break.